The jeep rattled over the dusty road, kicking up a cloud of red earth. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the rugged terrain, as if the land itself was whispering secrets of the past.
Dr. Rohan Sharma, his face weathered by years of exploration, gripped the dashboard. His eyes, sharp and filled with determination, scanned the horizon, searching for the familiar outlines of ancient ruins. He gazed at the skeletal ruins of Vijayanagara, rising like ghosts against the setting sun. The once mighty empire now lay in silent decay, its grandeur reduced to mere whispers in the wind. This was his life's work, the pinnacle of his career. Every stone, every artifact held a story, a piece of history waiting to be uncovered. But a chill ran down his spine as he entered the heart of the forgotten city. The air was thick with an eerie silence, as if the ruins themselves were holding their breath. Rohan's team, a mix of seasoned archaeologists and eager students, followed behind. Each step they took echoed through the empty streets, a reminder of the lives that once thrived here. They carried with them the tools of their trade, brushes, trowels and notebooks, ready to document their findings, and a thirst for knowledge. Each member of the team was driven by a shared passion to uncover the mysteries of the past. They were eager to unearth the secrets buried beneath centuries of dust and silence. The anticipation was palpable, each discovery bringing them closer to understanding the lives of those who came before. Little did they know, they were about to uncover something far more sinister. The shadows of the past were about to reveal a dark secret.
Professor, are you sure this is the place? It feels different. There's an unsettling energy here, something that doesn't quite belong.
This is it. The culmination of years of research and countless expeditions. We are standing on the threshold of history, the resting place of an empire. A civilization that once thrived and now lies in ruins, waiting for us to piece together its story. And we are here to awaken it, to breathe life into the shadows and bring the past into the light.
An old priest, his eyes like smoldering embers, emerged from the shadows of a crumbling temple. His wrinkled face spoke of years spent in silent communion with the past. He held a gnarled staff adorned with bells that jingled eerily in the still air. He approached Rohan, his gaze unwavering.
Namaste, Babuji. We are here to study the ruins.
This is not a place for the living. These stones whisper of forgotten things, things best left undisturbed.
We mean no disrespect, Babuji, Rohan assured him. We only seek knowledge. But doubt flickered in his own heart. There was something about the old man's words that struck a chord of unease within him.
This land belongs to the spirits now. Turn back while you still can.
Despite the priest's ominous warning, the team set up camp. Tents rose like pale mushrooms at the edge of the ruins. The air buzzed with anticipation as they prepared for the dig. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, an unnatural silence descended upon the site. The sounds of nature, the chirping of crickets, the rustling of leaves seemed to vanish. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. The silence was thick, heavy, and unsettling. It pressed in on them, amplifying every rustle of fabric and clink of metal.
Professor, do you hear that? It's too quiet.
Rohan, his senses on high alert, nodded slowly. He too felt the weight of the silence. It was the silence of a tomb.
Let's begin. Let's see what secrets this earth holds.
Days melted into weeks as the team meticulously excavated the site. The sun beat down mercilessly, but the archaeologists worked tirelessly, their excitement growing with every artifact unearthed. They uncovered pottery shards, intricately carved statues, and the remnants of a once grand palace. But it was a massive stone slab, half buried in the earth, that sent a shiver down Rohan's spine. The slab was covered in ancient Kannada script, the characters eroded by time, but still discernible.
This is the language of the Vijayanagara kings, but the words, they speak of something dark and dangerous.
What is it, Professor? What does it say?
Here lies the gatekeeper to a kingdom of shadows. Let no man disturb his eternal slumber.
His voice trailed off, a cold dread settling in his stomach. The inscription was a warning clear as day, but Rohan's scientific curiosity outweighed his apprehension. He was on the verge of uncovering a secret that had remained hidden for centuries. Against his better judgment, he ordered the removal of the stone slab. The workers, their faces etched with apprehension, slowly pried the massive slab from the earth. As the stone groaned and shifted, A low, guttural whisper seemed to emanate from the depths. A blast of icy air, smelling of decay and ancient incense, swept over them.
Professor, I don't like this. We should leave it be.
But Rohan was already captivated. He leaned over the edge of the newly revealed pit, his heart pounding in his ears. The air hung thick and heavy. A sense of foreboding gripped him, but he couldn't turn back now. He grabbed a torch and descended into the darkness. The air grew colder, more oppressive, with each step Rohan took down the rough-hewn steps. The darkness seemed to close in around him, thick and almost tangible, as if it had a life of its own. Each breath he took was labored, the air heavy with the scent of earth and something else, something ancient and foreboding. The torchlight flickered, casting grotesque shadows that danced on the damp walls. The shadows seemed to move with a will of their own, creating eerie shapes that played tricks on his mind. He could almost hear whispers in the flickering light, as if the shadows themselves were trying to communicate some dark secret. He could feel the weight of the earth above him, the centuries pressing down. The oppressive atmosphere made it hard to think clearly, each step feeling heavier than the last. It was as if the very ground was trying to hold him back, to prevent him from uncovering the secrets that lay hidden in the depths. He emerged into a vast chamber, the air thick with the smell of decay and forgotten rituals. The walls were lined with ancient symbols, their meanings lost to time, but their presence still exuding a sense of dread. The chamber felt like a place where time stood still, where the past and present collided in a haunting embrace. The chamber was eerily illuminated by an ethereal green light emanating from an unknown source. The light seemed to pulse with a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat, casting an otherworldly glow on everything it touched. It was both beautiful and terrifying, a beacon of the unknown that beckoned him closer. In the center stood a massive sarcophagus, intricately carved with scenes of a gruesome battle. The carvings depicted warriors locked in combat, their faces twisted in agony and rage. It was a testament to a time long forgotten, a story etched in stone that spoke of violence and despair. Skeletal warriors, locked in eternal combat, their eyes burning with an unholy light. The glow from their eyes seemed to pierce through the darkness, adding to the eerie atmosphere of the chamber. It was as if the warriors were still alive, their spirits trapped in an endless battle, unable to find peace. Rohan stood before the sarcophagus, mesmerized. The intricate carvings and the eerie glow held him in a trance, his mind racing with questions and fears. What secrets did this ancient relic hold? What horrors had it witnessed? As his fingers brushed against the surface, the green light pulsed, and a low, guttural growl echoed through the chamber. The sound sent chills down his spine, a primal fear taking hold. It was as if the sarcophagus itself was alive, reacting to his touch. He stumbled back, his heart pounding in his chest. The fear was overwhelming, a visceral reaction to the unknown. He could feel his pulse in his ears, the sound of his own heartbeat deafening in the oppressive silence of the chamber. The darkness around him seemed to writhe and coil, as if alive with some unseen energy. The shadows moved with a life of their own, creating an ever-changing landscape of fear and uncertainty. It was a place where reality and nightmare blurred, where the darkness held dominion. Back on the surface, the team waited anxiously for Rohan's return. The air was thick with tension, every rustle of leaves making them jump. They had ventured into the forest with a mission, but now uncertainty gnawed at their resolve. The unnatural silence still held them in its grip. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. Suddenly, Kavya cried out, clutching at her head. Her scream pierced the silence, sending a shiver down everyone's spine. She collapsed to the ground, her body racked with tremors. The team rushed to her side, but they were helpless, unable to understand what was happening. Her eyes, wide with terror, stared into the distance. It was as if she was seeing something that no one else could.
Kavya, what's happening to her?
Amit rushed to her side, but she shoved him away with unexpected strength. It was as if she was possessed by an unseen force. She began to speak, but the words that poured from her lips were not her own. They were ancient, filled with a power that none of them could comprehend. It was an ancient language, guttural and harsh, the language of the inscription they had found earlier. The realization hit them like a wave.
She speaks the words of the ancients. This is not Kavya speaking. You have awakened something evil from its slumber. The air grew colder, and a sense of dread filled their hearts. The gatekeeper has been disturbed. The ancient guardian they had read about in the old texts was now awake.
Rohan emerged from the depths, his face pale and drawn. He had seen things that no one should ever see. He rushed to Kavya's side, his blood turning to ice as he heard the ancient words spilling from her lips. The horror of the situation was sinking in. He had unleashed something terrible upon the world. The sky seemed to darken, and an ominous feeling of doom settled over them. And now he feared it was already too late. The ancient evil had been awakened, and there was no turning back.